There is no investigation. This boy has...
No, it's not. Really? It is to me.
Don't say any F's and stuff.
But I have to put her on the side and worry about
I'm gonna do what I gotta do for me and my boys and my kids.
Don't say any F's and stuff.
There is no investigation. This boy
No,
has...
it's not. Really? It is to me. Right. Idiot.
I've done my best. It's hard, you know, that's real tough.
but I have to put her on the side and worry about the boys.
I'm gonna do what I gotta do for me and my boys and my kids.
Don't say any F's and stuff.
Live from the NBD Production Studios, you're in the lab with your host, Joshua Diaz.
There is no investigation. This boy
No,
has...
it's not. Really? It is to me.
But I have to put her on the side and worry about the boys. But I have to.
There is no investigation.
Don't say any F's and stuff.
But I have to put her. But I have to put her on the side and worry about the boys.
What's up? It kind of feels like long time no see, at least from this seat. Good to see everybody that is awake. I'm guessing most people are asleep. But let me see here. Ba-da-da-da-da. Interesting. Let's see. Okay. All right. Good to see everybody. How is everybody doing? Let's see here. It's 1 a.m. here, Josh. What's up? I'm up for now. Early. Let's see. Patty says, hello, Josh. Glad to see y'all are safe. Now we're safe for now. That is, we are safe for now. Good Lord. I was just going to, I have, like, I did a couple live streams from my phone, which was like, I felt like I was like a trailer park YouTuber. I'm just kidding. I hate like lives on my phone, but there was nothing else I could do. I mean, I guess I could have not gone live, but there was nothing to do. There was nothing going on, man. I mean, once you get once the initial shock and everything is over with and you're just waiting for the power to turn back on, there's not a lot to do. But I did go live right after. I was not watching from your phone. I'm saying live streaming from my phone. I'm not really good at it. I'm paranoid. I got a little PTSD going on. Hi, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you too. Yeah, I got a little PTSD going on. I think everybody does. Shoot. I was thinking, so glad you're all safe and stuff. We're safe. We are safe. Kathy's here, but Kathy's tired. I get that too. Wow, it's when I hear sometimes like it's a pleasant surprise, huh? Let's see here. Yeah, sure am. That's kind of been the crappy part is that like I don't know, we've had dozens of aftershocks, and they're obviously nothing close to what I think I felt one probably a couple hours ago, just sitting here working, and it's like oh god. Luckily they don't get too big, but I mean, so I felt one this morning. I felt one this afternoon. Let me see. I felt aftershock. Yeah, I felt there's been a bunch, honestly. And it sucks, to be honest with you. Thank you, Amy. Appreciate that. I haven't felt any. I'm in Bakersfield. Yeah. Well, one of the cool things was, that I got to do like a tiny little bit of media. Like I did this, I did this, was it CBS News Bay Area? I'm technically, Bay Area is technically Northern California. And so they had me on to talk. When I say talk, like I literally spent like the whole process was like 20 minutes, and it was just boring. Waiting, and then but they didn't really keep me waiting too long. And then the lady that I did the interview with, I think her name was like Sarah Donchi or something from it's CBS News Bay Area. And dude, I was like, we did like a 15-minute interview, right? And I'm not even kidding you. And I know this is how it works because it's not the first time I've ever done like an interview. Josh, how long do they usually last days wise after let's see, weeks? It could be up to weeks. Takes a little bit to settle. I know that. Let me see. Yeah, we're still getting aftershocks. That's for sure, dude. If like, I'm not even kidding you. If I'm sitting here and if I feel something shake, like I'm out. Like I just run to the middle of the yard and sit there. Hope that the ground doesn't break underneath. And I'm not kidding, by the way. No, we do have water. No, we're up and running, man. We're legit. We're good. We're in better shape than most people, man. I'm telling you, I feel really bad for some people. It's been Natalia. Thank you so much, Natalia. It's very nice of you. But anyway, I was gonna play this just really quick. Look at that guy. Stud. That's me, just in case you didn't know. And if Donchi strikes this, I'm gonna be pissed. But so I did this interview. It was like 15 minutes, but I legitimately am in this. I'm in the very beginning, and then they do like, it's like they give me my own little segment, like oh, this guy, does a podcast out of his house, and he's a dummy. Hear what he has to say, or something, something like that. Yes, they certainly do. And yes, Natalia, thank you so much for that super. It's very generous and very nice of you. Thank you. Merry Christmas. All right, here it is. Are you guys ready? Your boy's famous. CBS News Bay Area. Let me get a job. Oh, wait here.
Roads buckled and thousands of people in the.
It was loud. So this is how it starts. Fast. Like, so that's me at the very beginning. Boom. All right. It was loud and long.
Now at 11, homes crumbled, roads buckled, and thousands of people in the dark. The rush to help the victims.
That's fire, though, huh? That's a fire opening. Like, that's a fire opening. This is like a 9-minute segment. And then they just bring me in hot. I'm lead on the top story of the night for 3 seconds. Three seconds. Not cool. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, it was a blast. I had a good time. All right. Okay, you ready? Because this thing kicks fast. It's like boom in your face. And then you're going to see all the hillbilly people that live around me. And they'll probably watch this and then they'll hate me. And I don't care. It was loud and long.
Now at 11, homes crumbled, roads buckled, and thousands of people in the dark. The rush to help the victims of a deadly North Coast quake tonight.
I think the only reason they had me on is because I'm like the only person in Eureka that I really don't know. Maybe I'm the only one that has a podcast or a YouTube channel or something. I don't know. I mean, they stood outside and asking people at the grocery store, and they go, "How did it feel?" And like, it was scary. Boom. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't bring any expertise to the table, but I hope I brought a little class and a little sophistication to my fellow Humboldtians. Represent. Yeah, I'm a superstar. Let's see. Funny, I totally support your channel, but I pick one time to talk and I see something that looks so darky. What is that? What happened? Oh, you mean, no, I'm definitely. All right. I want to hear that fire intro again. Let me get that. Give me the beat, boys, and free my soul.
From KPIX.
My show, Donchi.
With Sarah
North Coast.
Look at. There's the opener, not her. Me. I'm the opener, baby. Sort of. I don't know if I was the opener or not. Oh, something dorky. I was like, darky, what the heck's that? All right, ready? Fast intro. 1, 2, 3. My show. Oh, God. Coy. Is Coy here? Is Coy here? Did somebody say Coy's here? Makes me nervous. loud and long.
Now at 11, homes crumbled, roads buckled, and thousands of people in the dark. The rush to help the victims of a deadly North Coast quake tonight.
Now, it was certainly was, when I say deadly, it was deadly. I don't know if the people that died if it was actually, I think it was like the hospitals or emergency services couldn't get to them. So, their death was attributed to because I believe they're older folks, which is just terrible. It's sad. And that's usually who suffers the most. All right,
From
Donchi.
KPIX, this is the late news with Sarah Donchi.
Let's do it.
On
Come on,
CBS
Donch.
News Bay Area.
She's good.
Hi, I'm Sarah Donchi. Well, it seems like everybody has been talking about that huge earthquake
Of course, she flubs a
that
little
hit
here.
up in Northern California. It was the most destructive earthquake to hit there in years.
Look at that. Now that town is called Rio Del, and it's tiny. It's like it's just like a couple thousand people, and that's just up the road a bit from me. So what it goes is like Eureka, Fortuna, and Fortuna got hit really hard. And then Ferndale, which is right next to Fortuna. And then up just a little further is Rio Del. And we used to call it Real Dull growing up because it was boring.
It was a magnitude 6.4 quake near Ferndale up in Humboldt County. 2 people are dead, at least 10 people got hurt, and tens of thousands of people are still in the dark at this hour. Now, the quake hit at 2:34 in the morning, centered in the ocean, not far from the coastline, more than 250 miles north of San Francisco.
It was
and
real
then
dull.
Dozens of aftershocks. At least one of them was pretty big, higher than a magnitude 4.0. CBS News correspondent Manuel Bojorquez went there to talk to people who told him this one was very scary.
How did it feel? It was scary. Back to you.
It was just crazy. I mean, everything just fell.
Now, I don't know Dorothy, but I know Dorothy, if that makes any sense. I don't know that kid, but I know that kid. And I don't know Dorothy's presumably daughter, but I know Dorothy's presumably presumed daughter. This is what's I would say about not saying anything. It's just that these are the kind of folks that I see around town.
Off the walls, and
Dorothy's tight. I like Dorothy. I really don't know Dorothy, but I know Dorothy.
I thought my house was going to fall down.
Yeah.
We saw firsthand.
Somebody's did. Let me see.
And the impact of the magnitude 6.4 quake, which struck Humboldt County near the Oregon border just after 2:30 this morning.
I just woke up to this.
Darren Gallagher says when he walked outside his home in Rio Del.
Now, I'm telling you, Rio Del, there's nothing there. There's a dispensary and a doctor's office.
Whole front porch fell off. There's a dirt bike over there holding up that end.
The road buckled near Ferndale, a town of 1,300 residents closest to the epicenter.
We're talking about damage to homes.
I don't know who this guy is, but he's East Coast. But somehow he works for the governor.
Damage to critical infrastructure and
Cal OES director.
lifelines, so water, power.
But as powerful as this jolt was, the damage could have been much worse.
For
the
sure.
The quake hit 11 miles.
The funny thing is, they say, well, the damage could have been a lot worse. Well, it could have been a lot less, too. It's a really dumb thing to say. Tell that to this person.
Beneath the surface.
When it's releasing down further in the earth, then some of that energy has a chance to kind of die down before it gets to the surface.
Most buildings held steady. The injuries due to what
I'm alongside the fault.
State officials call non-structural items.
Your bookshelves, your TVs, you could fall over that aren't bolted down. Short of a house collapsing on you or a building collapsing on you, the potential for having a big bookshelf fall over is high.
Perhaps most.
I don't even know what that means. I'll listen to that again. I really don't know what he meant by that. I was listening.
Is high.
Perhaps most
on you. The potential for having a big bookshelf fall over is high.
Thanks.
Perhaps most unsettling is that the 6.4 temblor may just be a warning.
So this is their thing. Everybody, so what everybody's afraid of now is that there's another one coming. And I've heard this after every single earthquake. And God, I mean, I hope that that's not true. And I hope that people are proven wrong. But somebody was like, there's a 13.3% chance that a 5 or greater could happen in the next 2 days. And I'm like, there's a 100% chance that I don't care to talk to you about percentages.
Unfortunately, we have no way of telling whether this is a foreshock to a larger earthquake. We don't.
So, and she says that like, well, we don't know if this is Robin Williams had a bit where they said, oh yeah, the big one's coming. It could happen tomorrow or 10,000 years from now. That's the window frame we're looking at. Oh God.
Don't know, but this is a great reminder.
That is always unsettling. So here's another look at the damage. These are cracks on Highway 211, and that is the main road into Ferndale. So Caltrans has had to shut that down so they can. So
this piece of crap bridge, and it's been a piece of crap for years, but it's like withstood a lot. But they're always having problems with the bridge every time there's an earthquake, because Ferndale is the epicenter of these earthquakes. That piece of crap bridge just gets hammered constantly. The thing's all cracked up. Today there's another way around, but today they opened traffic to like one way. One way traffic. And I have a buddy that lives in Ferndale, and apparently he was saying that he was just going to go around the other way because he was going to let other people drive on it first.
Fix it. The governor has already declared a state of emergency.
Those cracks are from other earthquakes.
Emergency in Humboldt County. And early this morning, our Wilson Walker made the trip up there. And tonight, he shows us the mess that's left behind.
Here on the western end of the Fern Bridge, and I can tell you that a lot of the damage that I saw today was to the south of where I am standing, Fortuna Rio Del. The town of Ferndale, a lot of people there considering themselves a little lucky.
The displays, all the sunglasses are broken.
In the picturesque town of Ferndale, the quake was not far away, but for such a...
It's funny, the picturesque town of Ferndale. And shout out to my Ferndalians that are out there and will catch this. It's a town. They consider themselves the most hallmark of all towns. I mean, it is a quaint little Victorian village, I guess. It is nice.
A strong shake. The effects were not what some had expected.
But fortunately, it doesn't seem to be any structural damage.
Living the good life here, but you have to take these bumps in Ferndale on the coast.
Merritt Broke was cleaning up for the second time in a year.
Garbage, glassware, dishes.
And they said that exactly a year ago that there was like we had another earthquake, but I don't remember that one last year. I swear to God, I don't remember it. I mean, I don't remember that.
Like many
one.
others here, she was drawing comparisons.
There's a lot of cows out there. Yeah, it smells like crap.
It wasn't as bad as last year. Last year, this fridge fell over and we had all the milk and everything spill out.
Jeff Foxworthy used to have a bit, and I don't know if anybody remembers when he used to say, it was his whole bit. You might be a redneck that was kind of his thing. You might be a redneck if, and then he would go on to tell you why you were a redneck. And one of the things, and it kind of reminded, because I've seen this lady before and talking about earthquakes too. And what she says was, he says, Jeff Foxworthy goes, he goes, I'm going to do his accent. Okay. He goes, you might be a redneck if you've been on TV more than 3 times describing what the tornado sounded like, you might be a redneck. And I was thinking the same go for earthquakes. Cause like everybody's like, oh, it's California, California. Dude, this is redneck country. If you think like this part of California is like city folk, you're tripping. Come check out these city folk. They ain't real nice. City folk. This is not the city. Trust me. This is the sticks, the boonies. They like guns and river bar racing.
Out.
Oh man, this year it felt harder. It felt like a bigger quake.
Like this guy, Cameron Renner, I don't even know who he is, but like he doesn't give a crap. He's like, yeah, whatever, dude.
It felt like it lasted longer, but the damage was a little bit less.
Cameron Renner was one of those trying to figure out why there wasn't more to clean up.
On some earthquakes, it'll throw it right off the shelves, and others it'll just come right and it'll sit on the shelf.
For him, this was almost a pleasant surprise.
I was expecting it to be way worse than it was.
I mean, like, what? I mean, come on. Seriously, Cameron.
Much worse.
I had the community members
So this is hilarious, and this is just coincidence. This guy, it says source Brandon Rice. Brandon Rice isn't a source. He just has, and Brandon, if you're watching this, I love you, buddy. Been a while. But okay, I guess he is the source, but he just flies a drone for fun. Like it's, so that he gave him this footage, and it's good footage. It's good footage, but like, I remember, let me show you Brandon
come down
first.
and take some photos and videos of the bridge. I've lived here.
Okay, so there's my old pal, high school pal Brandon. Him and a kid named Ross Kuhn hatched a plan. One of them jumped from the second window into a bush to ditch class, and then when the teacher went over to check to see who jumped out the window, then Brandon ran out the front. But he was marked. They were both marked there, so they thought that they were going to get away with it. Like they're the only two that left class.
My entire life, and
Brandon Rice was inspecting the big lingering concern for this region, and that
First of all, he wasn't inspecting anything. He was flying his drone.
Fern Bridge, the critical link to the communities on this side of the Eel River.
Oh, it would be devastating. It'd be devastating for our community. It really would.
That guy's probably like, "Hey, Brandon, can you not, Brandon, can you not fly that drone near me while I'm standing on this?"
It's how we get most of our commodities in and out. There's a couple other ways, but it's they call it the Lost Coast for a reason.
All right, and so that's another lame thing that people say about. So that bridge is the entrance to Ferndale, which is that quaint little picturesque Hallmark town, and just like. Brandon's not even from Fortuna. He lives, he lived in Eureka. I think he lives in Fortuna now, but
a bit more on the bridge.
But apparently this is how we get that's how they get most of their commodities. I think that they should probably, I don't know. This bridge is gnarly though. I'll tell you that. People get nervous driving on this bridge.
There are a lot of Caltrans workers out here today looking at that bridge, crawling all over it. A lot of folks down here on the western end under that little erector set landing section of the bridge, but a lot of attention also being paid out to the big arches under there, and we could see people looking at those cracks. But look at where they're looking at the cracks. You can see the little chessboard pieces up there. That is a good indication that that crack was there before, and what they're out doing now is checking out whether things have changed dramatically after the shaking this morning. A 1911 structure, no doubt a lot to look at on that bridge.
All right, that was Wilson Walker reporting for us. And Josh Diaz hosts a YouTube show out of his house. He lives in Eureka.
Shout out Lab Rats. Let me see.
She was never.
Nope, wrong one. Come on, where's the good one? I thought I had. No, damn it. Oh, here it is. This is the celebration. Choo choo. All right, you guys ready? I was too busy making fun of Brandon. He's probably gonna kick my ass now.
To look at on that bridge.
All right, that was Wilson Walker reporting for us. And Josh Diaz, host.
Let's go. Let's go. Famous podcaster and YouTuber. I'm just kidding. Dummy dumb.
On that bridge.
All right, that was Wilson Walker reporting for us. And Josh Diaz hosts a YouTube show out of his house.
That's a fact.
Lives in Eureka.
I do.
He was home at his computer editing some video when the shaking hit. He
Hell
said
yeah.
it was violent, stronger than.
Let's go back again.
Diaz hosts a All right, that was Wilson Walker reporting for us. And Josh Diaz hosts a YouTube show out of his house. He lives in Eureka. He was home at his computer editing some video when the shaking hit. He said it was violent, stronger than he'd ever felt before. And he ran to a doorway hoping it would stop.
I've been in a lot of earthquakes. It was the craziest earthquake I'd ever been a part of. I could hear the power going out. It was making this, like, it was going zzz, zzz, and I was like looking up, and then the power went out and everything went black while we're still shaking.
So
and that's it. I talked to her for 20 minutes and that's what I got. Hey, I appreciate the invite and I appreciate being on. So, I think the rest of the segment is, I don't think Brandon comes back in either.
Of course, can have earthquakes. That spreads out and cause.
I don't know who that guy is. Oh yeah. Scott Peterson, staying in jail too. Stud. That's true. Heavy details, right?
I could go into heavy detail.
I did.
And I will.
And I did.
And I will go into heavy detail.
That's a good point. That is a good point. Can you give us any details on the earthquake?
I could go into heavy detail. And I will. And I will go into heavy detail.
All right, that was Wilson Walker reporting for us. And Josh Diaz hosts a YouTube show out of his house. He lives in Eureka.
Yep.
He was home at his computer editing some video when the shaking hit. He said it was violent.
Brandon got more airtime than me. Mimi? No, he didn't. He probably talked to him for 6 hours. Probably wouldn't shut up. This guy literally told me one time that he drank 24 beers in a weekend and had diarrhea for 2 weeks.
Stronger than he'd ever felt before. And he ran to a doorway hoping it would stop.
I've been in a lot of earthquakes. It was the craziest earthquake I'd ever been a part of. I could hear the power going out. Yeah. It was making this, like, it was going zzz. And that's true. When I ran outside screaming like a lunatic and I was looking up at the power poles as we're shaking because it just kept shaking. And then so he's an overshare. Yeah, and I just overshared with him. Sorry, Brandon. I don't think he'll mind. Good night, everyone. Good night. Anyway, so I could just hear the power failing. It was and then it went out like the Titanic. I love Titanic references. Remember when like the bow breaks and it goes
I could go into heavy detail, and I will. And I will go into heavy detail.
Can I tell people I have a friend from TV? Pretty please. You can tell people whatever you want. Please. By all means, my friend. And I was like looking up and then but I mean, they did make it seem like, let's go check in on Josh.
Editing some video when the shaking hit.
Let's go. Here's the transition. Brandon had to get in the mishmash with the Caltrans and the poops.
All right, that
and
was
the
Wilson
peeps and the poops.
Reporting for us. And Josh Diaz.
The cow crap.
hosts a YouTube show out of his house. He
That's
lives
right.
in Eureka. He was home at his computer editing some video when the shaking hit. He said it was violent, stronger than he'd ever felt before.
Fact.
And he ran to a doorway hoping
That doorway.
it would stop.
It didn't.
I've been in a lot of earthquakes.
Here, let's go. Are we frozen? Here, let me see. Here, it's a different microphone, but it's okay. Shaky spelled incorrectly in the thumbnail. Yeah, I think we forgot the E. It shook right off. Don't worry about it, though. Thank you. Love that. Well, can you tell me how to spell it correctly? No, I'm not frozen. I was just kidding. I don't think I know how to spell it. I'm serious.
It was the craziest earthquake I'd ever been a part of. I could hear the power going out. It was making this, like, it was going zzz, zzz, and I was like looking up, and then the power went out and everything went black. Wow.
But the reason that everything went black is because it was dark at the time. But I mean, there were lights, like there was like here, and then imagine like violent shaking and then everything going dead, like pew, while you're still shaking.
We're still shaking.
So thankfully, Josh and his family and his pets were okay. Their house wasn't damaged. Paul Higgin is here. You know what's so striking about this story is that everyone in the piece sounds like an earthquake expert because they have been through this before.
I mean,
yes, it's right.
Practice just kind of gives you that expertise of having done this just last year with that large.
Let's see. I've never witnessed a grown man run for a doorway during an earthquake. That's hilarious. I don't know if run is the exact word. Sometimes we exaggerate for effect. Don't know if I ran. Is that hilarious? Would that be funny? I doubt it. I don't think that somebody running to a doorway during an earthquake would be hilarious, but that's just me. No, I will not be doing that.
Quake off the coast, and this one was technically centered off the coast as well, but close enough to do a lot of damage.
That guy ran to the doorway because there was an earthquake. He's a grown man. I really am not seeing the humor there.
Talk about the aftershocks because there have been a lot. This is the center of where that occurred. Now, we showed you that map a little bit earlier.
Let me like sit there while something falls on my head. Oh yeah, let me just sit here while, shelving and stuff falls. That's hilarious. You know what's funnier than running through the doorway? Standing there while, an old antique set or whatever the frig is above your head falls on you. And,
this is the
now that's funny.
Updated map. Every dot on this map is an individual aftershock magnitude 1.
I don't care. That's what I'm saying. Mimi, I don't care if I moonwalked to it. I don't care if I crip walked to it. I don't care if I took my little Healy wheels and rolled myself over there as fast as I could. Nothing's falling on my head because that's what they've taught me from being a little tyke. I started doing it as a little tyke. It's hilarious. Yes, that's exactly what you're supposed to do.
0.0 or greater. And a number of these aftershocks have been...
Let me sit here so nobody laughs at me while things are falling down from above my head that are heavy.
Noticeable just on their own, magnitude 3 or greater. There have been 113 aftershocks so far. And of course,
that was like a day ago. They're more than that now.
can continue for days, sometimes even weeks after the initial earthquake. This occurred towards where the San Andreas Fault kind of bends out into the Pacific, but it doesn't just stop. I kind of think of it as a river delta where it fans out.
Yeah, we do kind of. It is kind of like I don't know. The last big one we had that knocked power out was like 2009, and I remember that one. But this one was much worse. My friend had a vending machine fall on her, not this earthquake. Well, look, maybe should have ran for a doorway. According to that, doorways are not safe. That's terrible, by the way. I don't like a huge vending machine. My God. I would. For sure.
Into these smaller faults that, of course, can have earthquakes of their own. And then that triggers all the other aftershocks that we've been experiencing in that part of California, farther out within the entire fault system. This is just a reminder that we do live in earthquake country, and it is always a good idea to be ready for something like this or potentially something even stronger, Sarah.
Oh, that news is always a little concerning.
Yeah.
All right, Paul, thank you so much.
But
given that the earthquake's epicenter was out in the Pacific, you might have wondered, why didn't it cause a tsunami warning? Well, we talked to USGS scientists who told us there's a simple explanation for that.
It's when we get the bigger earthquakes in the subduction zone where one plate is going down underneath another one, where you get these big vertical reactions in the crust. And if the crust sort of springs back up in an earthquake, that is what pushes up a column of water, and that spreads out and causes a tsunami. So this one was not large enough and didn't have enough of that vertical motion to cause a tsunami.
Well, certainly that is good news. We will be keeping a close eye on the situation in Humboldt County all night for you. Stay with CBS News Bay Area and KPIX.com for continuing coverage. Still ahead tonight, how a Bay Area judge.
Anyway, so we're good. Things are kind of back. Yeah, I heard that. And then they were like, I heard there was like a 3.3 and then they were like losing their minds. Let's say here, Southern California here. Hello, new in chat. Check it out. Southern California, you know what's up. You have earthquakes, I can 100% tell you I thought about you and your family yesterday. I'm so happy I woke up to see you were on live and are okay. I am okay. So let me see. It wasn't the earthquake. It was it's funny that it's funny that you say that because let's see. Yeah. People were like, when I went live, people were like, they're like, oh man, I can hear you, but I can't see you. And I was like, yeah, I know, because I don't have any power. And then I kept saying, hey, I can't see you. And I said, I know, because I don't have any power. But I had like these like floodlights, whatever, dude. We have a generator and but like honestly, the worst part of it is like when your kids won't stop asking you when the power is going to come back on. You just never know when it's like you were visible like a ghost, dude. I was running to a doorway as fast as I could. It was hilarious. But while I was heading to the doorway, I could hear my dogs inside because I'm kind of on a little detached part of the house. Let's see. Josh Diaz, faced with fear, began his escape from his home by zigzagging like a cinema chasing a red beam light. He leaped over a lazy boy recliner looking for anybody trapped and got out with his life. And I have a lazy boy recliner. About 12 hours. Thank you. But doorways are typically made pretty sturdy. And if you want to get under a desk, that's good too. They were screaming. So I made my way into the house like one juror matter says. And when I got in there, I'm glad you're okay, Josh. Yeah, they can. They certainly can be. But I started making my way up the ramp. I could hear the dogs barking, but I was obviously had to go check on my kids, and I checked on Grandma later. She was fine. Just got the notification. I can't do that because Scott Peterson here is not getting any trial.
Devastating.
Let's put. It was
one of those
Living the good life here. But
Cameron Renner.
Entire life and
hell yeah. Let me see. Yeah, they do take a little time. I prefer a once in a while earthquake to all the other natural disasters in the United States. Yeah, I kind of feel that way too. Power lines. No, not here. In Rio Del there was. Can I get a link? Yeah, I think so. Let me see. Maybe not though. Sorry, Brandon.
Brandon Rice was inspecting the big lingering concern for this region, and that's fern.
Wasn't inspecting crap. Just kidding, Brandon. I don't know if this will work. There it is. I just pinned it to the top.
Bridge, the critical link to the communities on this side of the Eel River.
oh, it would be devastating. It would be devastating for our community. It really would. It would. It's how we get most of our commodities.
And to be honest, Brandon is a really nice guy when he's not flying a drone.
And out, there's a couple other ways, but it's they call it the Lost Coast for a reason.
A bit more on the bridge. There were a lot of Caltrans workers out here today.
Like I can't tell if that's concrete. I'm not sure I want to know.
Looking at that bridge, crawling all over it. A lot of folks down here on the western end under that little erector set landing section of the bridge, but a lot of attention also being paid out to the big arches under there, and we could see people looking at those cracks. But look at where they're looking at the cracks. You can see the little chessboard pieces up there.
That's so they can tell like how much it's moved. Like those cracks are not new. It's so weird, man. I don't know. Brandon does go hard. He is lab diamond. Yeah, he is. He is flawless. That's fact.
that is a good indication that that crack was there before, and what they're out doing now is checking out whether things have changed dramatically after the shaking this morning. A 1911 structure, no doubt a lot to look at on that bridge.
There was too, yeah.
All right, that was Wilson Walker reporting for us. And Josh Diaz hosts a YouTube show out of his house. He lives in Eureka.
That's this one.
He was home at his computer editing some video when the shaking hit. He said it was violent, stronger than he'd ever felt before. And he ran to a doorway hoping it would stop.
I've been in a
Run was a strong word.
lot of earthquake. It was the craziest earthquake I'd ever been a part of. I could hear the power going out. It was making this, like, it was going zzz, zzz, and I was like looking up, and then the power went out and everything went black while we're still shaking.
So thankfully, Josh
Black while we're still shaking. And then the power went and then the power went out and everything went.
Look at this. This is funny too. I just noticed that. I think that's a pin in my hand. Like I'm doing something important. Well, I wasn't doing anything. I just wanted to hold a pin because I wanted to look professional.
The power went out and everything went black while we're still shaking.
So thankfully, Josh and his family and his pets were
Zero.
okay. Their
Take care,
house
man.
Wasn't damaged. Paul Higgin is here. You know what's so striking about this story is that everyone in the piece sounds like an earthquake expert because they have been through this before.
I mean, practice just kind of gives you that expertise of having done this just last year with that large quake off the coast. And this one was technically centered off the coast as well, but close enough to do a lot of damage. Let's talk about the aftershocks because there have been a lot. This is the center of where that occurred. Now, we showed you that map a little bit earlier. This is the updated map. Every dot on this map is an individual aftershock, magnitude 1.0 or greater. And a number of these aftershocks have been noticeable just on their own, magnitude 3 or greater. There have been 113 aftershocks so far. And of course, these can continue for days, sometimes even weeks after the initial earthquake. This occurred towards where the San Andreas Fault kind of bends out into the Pacific, but it doesn't just stop. I kind of think of it as a river delta where it fans out into these smaller faults that, of course, can
A river delta.
have earthquakes of their own, and then that triggers all the other aftershocks that we've been experiencing in that part of California farther out.
I really think that they should let weathermen just wear like regular clothes. Like they should have to dress for the day. Like if it's hot, then he has to, like wear shorts and sandals. And if it's cold, he should have to bundle up. She did not say my YouTube channel. I know, but you could see kind of the whatever.
Out within the entire fault system. This is just a reminder that we do live in earthquake country, and it is always a good idea to be ready for something like this or potentially something even stronger, Sarah.
Whatever, dude.
Oh, that news is always a little concerning. The
It's-
USGS scientists who told us there's a simple
But
explanation.
the intro's hot.
It's when we get the
Now at 11.
And you know what? If I had to, I had coughed at the beginning. Why did they edit that out, CBS? So, but he coughs. He goes, Brandon may have outshined me in the piece, and I'm good with that. It's like two billionaires that went to school together. Like, you can't believe there was so much talent in one spot. And Brandon may have dominated the piece, but I came in the words of Miley Cyrus, like a wrecking ball.
It was loud and long.
Now at 11, homes crumbled, roads buckled, and thousands of people in the dark. The rush to help the victims of a deadly North Coast quake tonight.
From KPIX, this is the late news with Sarah Donchi.
Damn. I know they didn't hit me with the YouTube channel name, but I guess if you just like type in Josh Diaz, I think my YouTube channel comes up at some point. Do you remember San Andreas? It's your fault. Yeah, I remember that. It's still, I mean, we just had a aftershock not that long ago. Brandon has a drone. Frig you, Brandon. Stole my spotlight. Just kidding. I do want to watch Brandon spot again, though. Just one more time. That's it. Because Brandon deserves it. He's like flying the drones near the Caltrans guys. They're all pissed. Brandon.
Bridge, the critical
entire life, and
Brandon
It'll just come right, it'll sit on the shelf.
For him, this was almost a pleasant surprise.
I was expecting it to be way worse than it was. Much, much worse.
I had the community members request I come down and take some
Community members request. Community members.
photos and videos of the bridge. I've lived here my entire life, and
I have no idea. People were asking me what kind of hat that is. I have no clue. Let me see. See if I can zoom in here. Zoom in on Brandon's hat. What's this? Humboldt County own. I like how he wore his. What the hell? Brandon, can I get one of those jackets?
Brandon
dude?
Rice was inspecting the big lingering concern for this region and the big lingering. Brandon Rice was inspecting
No joke.
the big
This guy
concern
and I remember
and that's Fern Bridge.
we locked our math teacher.
On this side of the eel.
We locked our math teacher, Mr. Lakin, out. Is that a Kmart hat? No, Brandon's great. That day Brandon ditched class, who would have known he would have been a drone pilot and an earthquake expert? No, there's no Kmart in Eureka. I don't think Kmarts exist. And I don't know if that's a Kmart hat, but
Eel River.
oh, it would be devastating. It would be devastating for our community. It really would. It would. It's how we get most of our commodities in and out. You know, there's a couple other ways, but it's they call it the Lost Coast for a reason.
A bit more on the bridge. There were a lot of Caltrans workers out here today looking at that bridge, crawling all over it. A lot of folks down here on the western end under that little.
Donchi's got some explaining to do because I was, you know, I thought I was the hit piece.
Rector set landing section of the bridge, but a lot of attention also.
There was a there used to be a Kmart
being paid out to the big arches under there.
I have no idea what. Maybe he drones for a living. I don't know.
And we could see people looking at those cracks, but look at where they're looking at the cracks. You can see the.
That's kind of what I was thinking. Build another newer bridge. I kind of wonder that too, but it's got to be more complicated than that, right? You would think. Is Brandon a mountain climber? No. Not that I know of. But I really do like Brandon a lot. But we locked our math teacher, Mr. Lakin, out of class one day. He left his keys in the classroom, and Brandon's like, dude, let's lock him out. And I was like, all right.
The little chessboard pieces up there, that is a good indication that.
Now that's mean. And I don't think so. I have to check.
Crack was there before, and what they're out doing now is checking out whether things have changed dramatically after the shaking this morning.
Yeah, he's like droning people that are trying to work.
1911 structure.
There's no way they asked him to do that
on that bridge.
All right, that was Wilson Walker reporting
this morning, checking out whether things have.
Like, what are you doing, Brandon? Can you stop flying that drone so friggin' close to me, dude? If you knock me off this platform, I'm going to be pissed. That water's gross.
Before, and what they're out doing now is checking out whether things have changed dramatically after the shaking this morning.
Do we have a new sub in the house? Linda didn't lose power, just felt the earthquake near Redding, California. Yeah, that's just a couple hours away. No, Brandon is not bridge guy. I know she made it sound lame. Like, yeah, Josh works out of his house. Whatever.
11 structure.
I host a. This is a studio.
No doubt a
It
lot
actually is
to
a
look
studio.
at on that bridge.
All right, that was Wilson Walker reporting for us. And Josh Diaz hosts a YouTube show out of his house. He lives in Eureka. He was home.
I'm not sure what proper or whatever. That looks like Eureka Natural Foods.
Home at his computer editing some video when the shaking hit. He said it was violent, stronger than he'd ever felt.
It was
before.
violent.
And he ran to a
And it was strong, and I didn't run. I
doorway,
walked.
hoping it would stop.
I've been in a lot of earthquakes. It was the craziest earthquake I'd ever been a part of.
I know, dude, but she shouted my name out, and it's all good. I wasn't there to promote my show, but I do understand.
Hear the power going out. It was making this like it was
Yeah. Do you guys have any cans to fill that with?
going zzz, zzz. And I was like looking up, and then the power went out and everything went black while we're still shaking.
So thankfully, Josh and his family and his pets were okay. They're
I appreciate that, Sarah. Anyway, guys, I just want to come say hi. Middle of the night. I know I'm tired. We'll be back tomorrow going like normal again, I believe. So I appreciate you guys being here. And thank you so much. Thank you for all the kind words and comments and thoughts and prayers. I appreciate them. I really do.
Don't even.
Yeah. It's dope.
I can go into heavy detail, and I will. And I will go into heavy detail.
Thank you, Caliban. Appreciate that. Thank you. Very good. Thank you. Appreciate it. Happy holidays. Night. Sending continuous love, prayers, blessings, and wellness wishes. Good night.